I don't think Doug really needs an introduction. He is the head of our membership committee this year and is going to share with us an update on membership. So please welcome Doug Hunt.
Hello everyone. I'm going to try to keep this short and brief so we can all get out of here on time today. Have a short presentation of where we are right now and where we want to go and how we plan on getting there as a membership committee. And the missing piece, as you can see, is you. That's where we're going to start. But
I apologize. It's the entry calls. That is the second screen.
right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't there for a minute. Sorry about that, y'all.
It's new equipment too. I had to go back to an old laptop I've been using.
Alright, so
See, I can pick on you now. It's hard to see from up there. It's
Yes, it
easy
is.
to see from out here.
this is where we stand right now. This is our current situation. As of July 1st, I believe it is, Ms. Kim, we have 90 members with an average annual attrition rate of 9 members. And this year, our minimum net goal is to have 1 new member, so our attraction rate, which is the amount of people we need to sign up to make up for losses and create the 1+1, is 10 members. And we're fortunate to be at those numbers. If you were at the membership meeting, there's a lot of clubs that are nowhere near 90 members. Okay. Prospect identification. Here's what we want to implement in some sort of process that allows us to recruit. We will use this info to build this process into a better situation as we move along. But we want to look at occupational classifications, the diversification and minority representation, and what skill sets we're missing in our club that can help us move along in different areas, not just membership. And what would it take, and what would it be like to make a friend of Rotary? So that's what we're looking to do, is build that in the near future. Attracting members. We're going to, in reference to attracting new members, we plan to increase our visibility through education about Rotary, what we do, let people know who Rotary is. Sort of an elevator pitch kind of thing. So when you go to speak to someone and they ask you a question about Rotary, we're going to have little tidbits kind of come up with a piece of paper or something we hand out to everybody that says in a short, one-sentence thing, this is what Rotary does. And tell their club story through social media, website, videos, etc. Keeping people engaged so that they know and see Rotary on a daily or at least on a weekly basis. And explain and show commitment to Rotary's areas of focus. Okay, onboarding new members, this is what it comes down to, is continual improvement of the new member orientation program. We want to continuously build this program so that the new members know what's expected of them and what we do, how we do things, how we participate, how we get put on committees, everything of that nature. We want to keep them engaged right from the very beginning. As again, offering early engagement with a concise new member information booklet and a yearbook so that they are able to see pictures of people and know who each person is. Even though I know everybody here, I'm the world's worst with names, so I have to refer to that often myself. We're going to send emails with helpful links to all things Rotary so that the new members can refer back to them and try to understand what goes on. And highlight new member info and picture on a weekly basis, not just with our 3-minute membership bios. So when you see the picture, you know that's the new person. And then as far as retaining members, we want to close the back door, so to speak. We're losing members, and that's where the attraction rate and everything comes in. We don't want to lose so many members. So there's always going to be attrition due to people moving, people taking different jobs, things of that nature. But we want to stop and close that back door so that we don't have to gain so many new members to get our +1 each year. We want to upgrade our club experience, be informative, be educational, and be inspirational. Limit the nonprofits to maybe once a month, have different inspirational programs weekly instead of the same things that we're always used to doing. Have social fun in place in preparation once a quarter. Do quarterly, or do the Jeopardy that Jared was doing. I thought that was kind of fun. cornhole, just anything to break up the monotony. Have a mentorship program, create a mentor program for new members that allows them to have a seasoned Rotarian, such as Doc or Roger or somebody, that they can pick up the phone and call and say, why does Rotary do this? How does Rotary do this? A mentorship program. And expand our meaningful service projects, creating hands-on opportunities for all the new members that are interested in getting involved. And to all our new members, I see a couple of them out here that haven't been members very long. Welcome and thank you for joining. When you join Rotary, you join an organization of leaders united throughout the world to provide humanitarian service, encourage high ethical standards, and help build goodwill and peace throughout the world. Those are the reasons why you're here. Just a couple of them, actually. Here is some information, so if some of the new members don't have this, this is where you can find the Rotary District website, and there's my Rotary website. If you can't get signed on, see Kim. She'll be able to get you your number, I think it's your Rotary number that you need to get on there, so she can get you signed up. All right, now that you've joined, we plan to inform all new members of their expectations from what we expect from them and also what they expect from us. And we want to let them know that attendance as often as possible, in person or via Zoom, so that they can participate and know what's going on a weekly basis. We have service, pitch in and get involved in a project. Make sure that they know what's going on so that they can get involved, so they don't have to look around and wait for somebody to come grab them. Committees, ask others in your committee what's expected. Lean on your new friends for information. A great attitude and a willingness to learn. That's what we expect from our new members. They can expect a lot from us, but we expect that from them. And we just want to touch on this so that everybody's clear. These are our 7 areas of focus. Water and sanitation, economic and community development, peace and conflict resolution, disease prevention and treatment, basic education and literacy, maternal and child health, and my favorite, supporting the environment, which I think we could do a lot more in if we get involved in it and move forward. I know we have some beekeepers and things of that nature in here that sort of help out with the environment. We could ask questions, maybe have a report on beekeeping. I'm interested in it. I like the honey that comes from it anyways. But that's just our 7 areas of focus that Rotary is involved in. That's where we concentrate most of our efforts. If you haven't received an email, or a new member manual, you can email me, and I'll make sure you get an updated one. So anybody that hasn't gotten one since you became a new member. All right, here's the breakdown. We're just going to go over, I know most of you know this, but this is some good information to know for the newer members. And I'm not going to hit on every one of the different plans. But the regular plan, as you can see, the dues went up to $78. I think it went up to $3, if I'm correct. From $75 to $78 a quarter, or $312 a year. Your meals went up, if you pay in advance, it's $11, and a meal is $132 a quarter, or $528 for the year. So we all continue to contribute to the annual Paul Harris sustaining contribution of $100 and an annual scholarship contribution of $150, which is, was it 30 tickets for $5 a piece? And so some people sell them, some people just go ahead and give up the money so that they put their own name on it or whatever. But that's the regular plan. The flex plan breaks down a little bit where you don't have to put up so much money if you're not going to be here all the time. If you're maybe you're joining us from Zoom or something of that nature. The flex payment plan is $78 a quarter, $312 a year, which is our dues, which you can't get away from that. But if you don't come to each meal, the meal is $15 if you come just once in a while, which will be billed, which is a little more. But that because you're not here every week. So you don't have a yearly amount. And then again, the Paul Harris payment number and annual scholarship contribution. Those all are always going to be part of that. But as you can see, the flex plan is about half of the regular plan for those folks that are not going to be here on a weekly basis. If they join by Zoom or they just, work doesn't allow them to be here, so they don't have to contribute so much to that. All right, new members. The first quarter, this is kind of what you're going to be looking at money-wise. The regular plan, the flex plan. And we have another plan, which is the young professionals, under 35, but I'm not gonna delve too deep into that, because I don't see many members of that group in here. The initiation fee, one-time fee for regulars, $150, and for flex $150. The quarterly basis, the dues are the same, the only difference is the meals. The regular plan, you're gonna pay $132 up front, and 0 as a flex. So that's what you're gonna expect to see in the first quarter. And here's just some more general information as far as what's gonna cost you. Annually in July, the Paul Harris Sustaining members is $100. In February is the scholarship fund, which is about $150 for the 30 tickets. And then we periodically have special events, which, most people know what those are, the chili cook-off. I'm not sure what the sprint triathlon is, that's a new one on me that Jerry put here.
You can tell I didn't update that sheet before I sent it to you.
Yeah, and then, club anniversary celebration, just various things that we do during the year that you can expect to be asked to contribute and participate in. And I just want to finish with this. This is the one thing that makes Rotary different than most other fraternal organizations. I'm a member of a couple other ones. But these 4 questions seem to make a difference whenever we try to decide what we're doing moving forward. And so I'm not going to read them to you, everybody knows it, but the 4-week test is very important. I think we all need to remember that. Now, moving away from that, I wanted to bring up one thing that our district membership chair, John Spillman, had put out here. This is something he sent out. It said, one strategy in having a proper onboarding process. In a recent survey, 93% of employers credited a strong onboarding process experience as a critical factor encouraging employees to remain with the company. Like businesses, onboarding is critical in retaining Rotarians. It is estimated that 50% of Rotarians leave within their first 3 years as a member. So what are the 3 key strategies to address the challenge of keeping Rotarians? 1, involve members immediately. Get them on committees, get them in projects, get them doing something. Inform the members right away about details of club projects, structures, finance, events, committees, and explain how they can be a part of the action. And create meetings that are valuable use of the members' time. I guess what he's trying to get at is this is not just a Rotarian problem, or a Rotary problem of getting members to stay. It's happening in every trade, every organization out there. So that's why I was getting back to the onboarding process. The members of the membership committee are making a real effort to make sure that when we onboard people, excuse me, when we onboard people, they know what's going on. They know who's part of what committees, they know who to go to if they need some information, so that we don't lose those people out the back door because they didn't feel like they were involved. And Brother Jared asked me to tell everybody his one thing he would like for you to do is to try to bring at least one prospective member to Discovery Rotary or a club meeting or any other club event by the end of May. And so that we might have some new members come in from that way. He wants everybody to try to at least bring one person to any kind of event that we're having. Let's see, what else is that? Oh, and let's see, I think it was Dan Quinn from downtown Greensboro, is that his name? Does anybody know?
Who?
Dan Quinn, and he was at the membership summit. Anyways, the 4 reasons he said that people come to Rotary are networking, service, fellowship, and leadership development. So if we're providing those 4 things, our ranks should grow. So that's the kind of stuff that they're showing that is causing people to join Rotary. I think that's all I have as far as my report. We're doing great. 90, what we have right now, 91.
I think it's 90 plus 6
Honoraries.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're growing. I think we're finally reaching our goal +1 so that we get our platinum. But I appreciate it, and if you have any questions for me, just let me know. Any questions? Okay, appreciate it. Thank y'all.
You can ask if anybody wants to be more active.
Yes, so Kim had a great point. We have a tendency, so all new members, those who haven't been doing new member orientation, a lot of times you get asked at new member orientation, what committees you want to be involved in or what events you want to be involved in. if you haven't had a chance, or if you don't really, speak up about anything in particular, Kim normally will assign you a committee before she has the yearbook prepared. But what she's saying is, basically, if there is something you are interested in that, maybe we haven't, maybe somebody in Rotary has not reached out to you specifically, that you have an interest in something, please, just ask the person next to you. Reach out to Kim, reach out to me, reach out to Jared or Doug, but there's always, you guys see the bulletin.
But just because you're not in charge, don't mean you can't play.
Yeah, you see the bulletin every week and you know how much goes on, and it's really easy for us to think that somebody else is handling this stuff. We do have a lot of leaders in this club who take the lead on projects and stick with it, for long periods of time, which can make the rest of us feel like we're not needed. But you are. Doug, you got something else?
I forgot to mention that Jared wanted me to talk about, to let you know that the membership committee and leadership committee, or the leadership team, are looking at innovative clubs and satellite clubs. Some people like them, some don't. So we are taking a hard look at that because other clubs around the area have gone in that way to try to boost their membership. So we are looking at it. I'm not sure we're going to go that route. It's just, I want to make sure everybody knows that we do. We are going to take a look at it.
And a lot has changed. Yes.
I have a question too. So I'm pretty new, but if you're on a committee, like I just heard on here, like I must have missed a membership committee, but I wasn't informed. I must have missed the day that they sent it here. I didn't get an email or anything to come to a committee meeting.
Okay, so that was not actually, when Doug mentioned that, it was not an internal club committee meeting.
Okay.
He was referencing the membership summit that happened at a district level. So, yeah, you
I
did
just
not
thought I was
miss
missing
anything.
something. I'm like, if I'm supposed to be on a committee, somebody's got an
Then
email.
thank you, that's perfect for asking, yes.
All the committees are in the yearbook.
Yes, again, all your committees are listed in the yearbook along with your dates when you're assigned prayers and programs. So please look through your yearbook, look at the committees you're assigned to. Every year, as soon as Kim gives me the yearbook, I go through and I just go ahead and highlight, where I'm at, and add it to my calendar. And I waited till mid-September to inform Kim that she did not put me on the program list this year. Like, I magically show up for a financial update every year, and this year, it was amazing. I was not listed.
I have other things planned for Hope this year.
Kim said nobody wants to hear that stuff. So,
She corrected that, didn't she?
yeah, and Doug mentioned satellite clubs and service-only clubs. I will tell you, your board made really, our flex plan here, at the Thomasville Club is the equivalent of a service-only club. Service-only was developed so that people who joined Rotary didn't have such a huge financial commitment to get into Rotary. And the biggest part of the financial commitment is often the meals, which for decades have been a required part of being in Rotary. So with us eliminating meals as a requirement, it does become more affordable for, more people to be involved with Rotary. And I will tell you, Thomas was the only club in our district that I know of that has actually implemented this and made it pretty much available to all their members. Most clubs do what's called a satellite club, where they break off a totally separate club that maybe has a different meeting time and not that meal requirement. They may, meet, they may meet and have drinks. And everybody pays their own tab, But satellite clubs are also used in areas where, Denton doesn't have a Rotary club. And there's some interest in Denton to have a civic club there. So oftentimes, places like that, a satellite club will set up so that they're not required to have their own, their own secretary and their own treasurer. you know, a lot of responsibilities that go along with that. They're not required to have a separate reporting to Rotary International and to the district. It happens through the sponsor club. So it takes a lot of the pressure off of that new group and having to do a lot of those things the first few years. So satellite clubs can be done inside of organizations, like if Novant Thomasville Medical Center decided they wanted a satellite club there, where they could meet there, it could actually be done. Old Dominion, you know, some of these larger employers, satellite clubs can actually be done right inside of those and not just at a separate location. All right, bear with me, I'm gonna try to change these slides one more time, and Doug make sure we can get you guys out early today.
Hope, do we still have an active club out at the college?
So the club, what Phil is asking about is an active Rotaract club out at the college, which Rotaract clubs are for college-aged students. Interact clubs are for high school. Am I getting that right? I always mix them up. So because of the pandemic and because of restrictions on meetings, the schools, until this school year starting up, have not felt comfortable resuming those clubs. So Phil, I think that we're very hopeful that as the schools are more comfortable with those small meetings, that those will become more active.
And we had an Interact club at both the early college, at the community college, and also then at Oak Grove High School, there was an Interact club as well. So hoping to get those back up and then maybe getting a few more as well.
And it's a great way, maybe underutilized in our area about using Interact and Rotaract to promote Rotary. But I know I visited Rotary in Aruba once, and their Rotaract club, they treated it like the young professionals. The Rotaract club was basically anybody aged, you know, out of high school on up to about 35, and they didn't even join the real Rotary club until kind of they aged out of Rotaract. So it's used differently in different places, but definitely it gets this younger generation. This younger generation is very purpose focused. They've been through a lot in their in their younger years. They're going to go through 2 recessions before they get married. So this generation has this younger generation has looked around and said, you know what, financial gain isn't my biggest focus, but making a difference is. So what you see are these younger people want to be involved in things where they feel some purpose and they do make a difference. They've seen people lose things, in the big recession that we had, and then they're feeling a little bit of the crunch again. So they have a very different outlook than the generations ahead of them.
One thing, for the people to talk about the people that haven't been here the last few years, that if we have Interact, we have opportunities for them to meet with the Interact Club, where we need a sponsor there every time they meet.
Yes, so as these Interact clubs get up and going again and start meeting, we need volunteers from the club. So if you're interested in working with high school age students, there's a couple things that we do. Background check happens, so there's a couple authorizations that we have to take care of to kind of get you approved. But those of you who are interested in working with and maybe just going to one meeting a month or one meeting a year, I say once a month, they probably don't meet more than once a month, but maybe going to one of those meetings a year, because somebody from our club needs to be involved in each one of those.
So I used to go out to the community college, and really all you have to do is sit in on the meeting. It was very rare that they ever turned to me for a question about anything. They run their own show, and they do a really, really good job of it. And I think it's a great way to get kids that age interested in serving the community. And it's just, the next step is to come join a Rotary Club.
Yeah.
And when we used to have them, they would help at everybody's day and things like the chili cook-off and anything that we did, would ask them if they wanted to make that one of their things that they did. So they were good help.
Yeah, they are. And you know, you're talking about helping at everybody's day and things. You guys, if, you know, those of you who never had the opportunity, to, for instance, participate in everybody's day, it's amazing how much Rotary Fellowship happens, you know, at those events, you know, chili cook-off feed in Thomasville. That is like the biggest, inside of our club, the biggest Rotary Fellowship thing we do all year. It's not just about the good that we do. You would not believe the relationships you build within Rotary when you participate in things like that. Wayne, were you gonna say something else?
And the rivalries too. I'm sorry that Phil won't be here to lose this year, but that's how it is.
Are you gonna have chili by proxy?